how you talk, do you take notes? You are now no longer a college kid. You are now walking into professional. You're a professional. And I know because I've made some mistakes myself. And Google reminds you of those mistakes.
Who you telling?
Right? Also, one thing I want to clear up. I think it's very interesting that they have a Utah guy in the BYU.
What was your record?
I noticed none of your highlights were against Utah. Just wanted to.
I was 1-1. I was 1-1.
I broke my neck against Utah. I mean against BYU, but we won.
But I do love that you guys bring this up, and because I want to impress that upon a lot of you players, because it is a small fraternity / sorority of folks that talk in the league leading up to the draft. These days, they are constantly asking reporters, cameramen that are interviewing you this week, coaching staffs, how does this person interact? And believe it or not, that becomes part of your narrative. So I think it's really important to make sure that you're on your P's and Q's, because every single moment that you're out here is an interview. I will say, guys, you haven't just been able to spend as much time as I have with some of them this week. Been very impressed with those few that I've talked. Notice Steve likes to keep receipts. You've now gone into this Hall of Fame.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
It's two Steves.
Well, you're right. Steve isn't as petty sometimes as you are, C. Smith. You've gone into the North Carolina Hall of Fame. We're still waiting for you to get into Canton. 17 years left of eligibility. How frustrated are you with that?
I'm not frustrated actually about it. It's back February 3rd, 2002. I had hired a sports psychologist, and I worked for him for about 9 years. And I had short-term goals, weekly, monthly, intermediate, long-term, professional, personal, and I had a lifetime goal. And on those lifetime goals, it was be the franchise player for whatever organization I play with, be able to afford to buy my parents and in-laws a house, check that off. And then the last was to be a Hall of Famer. For me, growing up in Los Angeles, football was my only way out. It was what I put all my eggs in all my eggs in the basket. It was what I thought was the best way to get out of a current situation that I had growing up. Now that I'm older and I realize it was a very dangerous risk. And now that I'm out of it, I haven't forgotten the rat race I was in. And so for me to be frustrated with God's timing, it's nothing wrong with it, but I have to trust the process. And I'm okay with whatever happens, because for most of my career, I was always waiting for someone to wake me up, because I believe throughout my whole career I was daydreaming. I'm 5'9", 3/4". I'm not supposed to be a dominant outside wide receiver. And for me to play as long as I played and to play the way I played, breaking my neck in college, a C4 burst fracture, man, I'm playing on house money. However, playing in house money, I'm not frivolous or risky. But when it comes, I'm not gonna act like I should have been here. When it comes, I'm just gonna be thankful for it. And it's gonna be a party. And that will.
And I want the invite.
Oh, listen, it's gonna be a long party. But it'll be something that I get to enjoy with all of the different people that have helped me along the way. I am a result of many other people investing time, money, and heart, and a lot of counseling in being comfortable and patient with understanding your journey.
Coach, when you look back on your career, obviously you played, quarterback in college, you were incredibly successful, and then you pivoted. What are some of the things that you wish you had known then that you know now about the journey that you took post-football and just even in your football career?
Well, I think one of the hardest things when you're young and you're successful in sport, and really taking appreciation for the value in the people that you meet. And, as I look back and I look on my time at the East-West Shrine Bowl, I look at my time when I was at BYU, I look at my time when I was at El Camino Junior College, right? And even when I was back at West Torrance High School, there was really great people that shaped, impact, motivated me to go on to do great things. And sometimes you can't keep that connection with everybody, but as you move and you grow and you start to navigate and you meet more people and more people open doors and you try to find your way in life, I wish I could go back to so many of those people and tell them thank you for what they were able to do, for the opportunities that they were able to give me, because sometimes you don't recognize it in the moment, right? Maybe it just seems like that subtle handshake or that dinner that you might have with somebody and life keeps moving forward. But then you think back, that was a really impactful dinner. That handshake helped when maybe that guy helped me, talk to the coach at BYU to say, hey, take a chance on the 6-foot quarterback who has no arm, is not a very good athlete, right? So all of those things add up to, here I am, I'm the head coach of the University of Texas. Like, this is crazy. This isn't supposed to happen to a guy from Torrance, California, right? But I am, and I don't take that lightly. I'm very humbled and honored to do that every single day. But then it reminds me of, man, if any advice I could give you guys is value these relationships and these connections you make, because you really don't know. I mean, yeah, we need to live life by a certain standard, right? Do the next right thing, things of that nature. But it's the people you meet that ultimately are the ones that help navigate you and open doors that create opportunity for you in life.
Both of you obviously have experience in the NFL and in the college ranks, and I know something that both Coach Hightower and Coach Kafka have impressed on this group this week is the importance of how you practice and how you prepare, because the game does move faster that first year from college to the NFL. What advice would you have for these guys as they make that transition, and how much truth are their coaches preaching them to this week, and how valuable is this experience to get that before you go and join the NFL?
I mean, the NFL is a fast game. It's pace. It's about process. It's about doing the right things, knowing where to be, knowing how to be there, being on time. I would say the biggest thing is ask questions. I think this generation of athletes are different in regards of they see the game a lot differently. You hone in and you got these training. But more than anything, ask questions, be an active listener, and do less talking. Because I have a 26-year-old. So I have a 26-year-old and a 22, 18, and 9. So I kind of have learned this generation, and I'm still experiencing this generation. And I would say I am a more successful version of where you're trying to go. So listen, slow to speak, and eager to listen. Because eventually you'll deal with some coaches, which I've seen in my career, where some coaches will say, you don't need to worry about me coaching. And I've seen some coaches do it where they stop talking to the player and they stop coaching the player. And then that player, a couple of years later, I'm watching them sell cell phones because they didn't listen. It wasn't because they were less talented. They just didn't listen. And no coach is going to employ you and put their wife and children's private school tuition, gas money into your hands, which is one of the reasons why I don't coach. I'd just rather do TV, because if I screw up, I blame myself.
I think the one thing as a coach, having coached in the NFL, now being back in college, how do you develop trust as a player? As coaches, we're always trying to look for the players that we can trust, that we can count on. Well, trust isn't just about running the right route at the right depth. Are you at the facility early? All right. Are you in the meeting room attentive? Do you have your iPad out? Are you doing extra work, post practice? Are you doing the things that ensure trust in me as a coach? Because there's nothing worse as a coach when it comes down to it. Can I really count on this guy? Can I really trust that guy? to be where he's supposed to be, when he's supposed to be there, to make that play in that moment, in the critical moment. So I think all that you could think of that would say, we have an adage at UT, it's very simple. Trust equals time plus consistency. Can you be a consistent team member, right? That is being where you're supposed to be, on time, doing the things necessary to try to improve your game, to develop the trust in the players in that locker room as you're trying to make that team, to the coaching staff, right? That you're trying to find more playing time to get opportunities on the field. That's a huge component. It's not always how big, how fast, how tall. Can we count on you? Can we trust you? And to me, and Steve knows this better than me, but to me, that's what the great organizations in the NFL have. They've developed a culture of trust, and if they can't trust you, they move on and the next guy gets his opportunity, and they continue to grow that way. And so I would say that's probably one of the biggest components for me, looking at it from a coach's lens.
Well, tomorrow we have the East-West Shrine game. Do you guys have any memories from the event that you'd like to share?
I have a great one. I threw a pick six to a defensive lineman on a screen in an all-star game.
And that's on tape.
To Matt Finkus. So Matt Finkus and Mike Vrabel were teammates at Ohio State.
Wow.
Okay. Finkus plays in the game, and we call a screen, and this guy jumps up and picks it and runs it for a touchdown. That was my highlight of the East-West Shrine game. So clearly,
call it a highlight. Others might call it a low light.
So clearly, you can get admitted into the Hall of Fame of the East-West Shrine game for some other things than just how you played actually in that game.
I'm not gonna. There's so many things I can say with that, but I'm not gonna.
I love they shared.
No, I'm not. That was awesome, Coach.
That's the way it goes.
No, I mean, it's true. Those are the highlights that weren't showed up.
Yeah,
where you may be rolling your eyes, and then all of a sudden that coach is coaching you here, maybe walking through a locker room that you become in a couple of months. Mm-hmm. So you got to be careful.
That's the truth. That is the truth.
And they don't forget.
Oh, no.
No,
they do not. And they write it on paper. I still, my quick story, my agent, when I tore my Achilles in Baltimore heading into my last NFL career season, he sent me, because I was thinking about retirement, he sent me my write-up back 20-something years ago of what they said I was going to be, which is a 5th to 7th round draft pick. And as I was sitting in the bed from a double ruptured Achilles, I reread it every time I had like a doubt and a thought. And I reread, first of all, I'm not supposed to be here. It said inconsistent, doesn't run the same routes, marginal, small body frame. That was the write-up. It was 2.5 pages, front and back, and it showed everything that all the different scouts had said, and it was a collage of the truth. I looked at the truth and I worked on the truth. And that was the best thing. And so at the end of my career, I was looking at the beginning of my career, which is I was an inconsistent hothead who expected everything to be given to him. And so I had the opportunity to change that narrative.
I hope a lot of you guys are paying attention to this. Well, as we wrap this up, this is ultimately about the kids. It's as much as an opportunity for coaches and players to showcase their talents. At the end of the day, this helps highlight the amazing work that Shriners Hospital does. How much does it mean to you to see some of their faces here? Abby over here, I caught up with her before this. She can tell you everything about baseball, horse racing. Kyle Rudolph is a personal favorite of hers. How much does it mean to be able to play in front of these kids, and while you're doing something for yourself, you're helping others?
Well, I think this, I think in sport, God gave us gifts to go play a game that we love and to be passionate about and be part of a team. But also I think sport inspires others, and it brings a lot of joy, it brings a lot of cheers, it brings a lot of tears. It brings a lot of anguish, right? Sport brings so much out of us, but it also gives us a platform to be role models, to support those that that look up to us that way. And so any opportunity like this, what Shriners does is tremendous. And to be connected to this bowl game for so many years, and the opportunities for these players and for us, for that matter, to make this connection to brighten somebody's day. That's what this opportunity has given us. It's given us this platform to inspire others to be more, to enjoy the day, to have one more really good day. And why would we not want to share and give that with the platform that we've gotten?
Shriners is doing a great job because Shriners and the hospital, they're giving to people and things that are unforeseen circumstances. There's no blueprint to how and what these families deal with. And so one of the things I texted my wife this morning that I was struggling with is seeing some of the kids that I was saying I'm a father of 4. I'm thankful that Shriners is here to help, but also what they go through and what these families go through. There is no blueprint for this until Shriners. Shriners has so much experience and they've invested so much time that they take away the hard stuff. And the hard stuff is loving on your children, but also trying to take care and treat yourself through this ordeal, and that's tough. And Shriners gives them an opportunity to balance both. And we all know one of the biggest things about mental health is trying to balance both. And Shriner takes away one or the other, which makes it the best part. And at the end of the day, Shriner's helping children, but the East-West is helping children with their dream as well.
And more importantly, there's one kid here I'm looking forward to talking to her. She's 16-year-old Libby from Houston. She received treatment at Shriners. She was born and they told her that she'd be very limited in her day-to-day. Now she's a manager for a football team and she wants to be like Lori Locust and draw up plays in the NFL. And seeing Lori out here certainly lets her know that that can be possible. Guys, I've enjoyed talking with you. I hope that as players you soaked in a lot of what they've said. Those of us covered it have seen that everything they're saying is not just it's not just lip service. But congratulations, it can go to 2 better guys.